What's poppin', guys? You got your boy Andre here. Welcome to another video. So for this video, this is going to be part 3 of the Chronogenesis set review. This is going to be covering Shadowcraft as well as Bloodcraft. So let's go ahead and get started. The first card is the 8-mana legendary Abyss Stradler. So it's a 8-mana 1/5, evolves into a 4/6. So right off the bat, you'll notice that its evolve stats are a little bit different than what you're used to. It still gets the total full stat evolved. However, it's slanted towards being a more offensive evolve, which is kind of important. As we get to the effect, it's at the end of your turn, perform Necromancy 4, gain +3/+0. So right off the bat, if you evolve this, you know that's going to be an 8-mana 4/6 initially, and then it'll go up to being a 7/6. But then also has the following text: whenever the Spawler attacks, if the Spawler has at least 10 attack, destroy the Spawler. And then last words, deal X damage to the enemy leader, where X equals the Spawler's attack. So basically, you can kind of think of this guy a little bit like Spawn, and that'd be pretty appropriate. This card I think is very good. I think it's both good and bad. It's good and bad because you want to have at least Necromancy 4 in order to trigger this, and you also probably want to have an Evo in order make this card go up to at least 7 attacks. This way it hits you for about as hard as a Spawn would hit you. Now, the good thing about this card is that it does have a decent amount of HP, so it can kind of live initially, and it also has a self-destruction effect attached to it. It's also in the class that has a lot of self-destruction effects, and you can trigger it whenever you want to. This deck I think will probably be its own separate deck. I don't know exactly what the deck looks like. I do plan on playing with this card again. If I happen to pull copies of it, I'll definitely go ahead and play with it almost immediately. If I don't, though, it will probably take me a while to get around to crafting it. But one of the arguments that I've seen against this card is that, oh, well, you need an Evo for it or something like that. It's not hard to hold Evos as mid-shadow, or sorry, it's not hard to hold Evos as a deck that could possibly be running this card and possibly using a mid-shadow skeleton in order to do so. Again, I definitely think this card will probably be its own separate deck, and I definitely think that the construction will probably be different, but at least slightly similar to that of what mid-shadow does. Additionally, it's also easier to hold Evos as we get to the next card, but definitely for this card, I definitely think it'll be a card worth playing around with and just experimenting with. But there's a lot of things to experiment with Shadow this set, which is very, very good. Next card is Underworld Ruler Aisha. So Aisha is crazy. Alright, so she's really good, and I'm not gonna say really bad, but she's really good and she's really interesting. Alright, so right off the bat, you'll notice that she has Rush. So this for all of you Shadowcraft players is probably a godsend, because if you a really funny thing that if you want to do if you want to have a laugh is you can go ahead and you can type into if you're on Discord or whatever, you can go ahead and make a search for Shadowcraft, and you do Shadowcraft and then type in Rush. There's only 3 cards that pop up. So so having this card have Rush is very, very good. 5 mana 5/4 with Rush. That also has an upside. Fanfare, Necromancy 10, evolve this follower. And then Fanfare enhance when you evolve this follower, it gains Storm, and then of course when it's evolved and when you get the Necromancy 10, you also have the attack. You also can attack twice. So essentially, you can make comparisons to it being that of Albert, which is what people kind of make comparisons to. Albert, for me personally, I liken it more towards being that of say Geno that can potentially scale into an Albert, but will most likely be used for being a Geno. So I know a lot of people don't think that this card is good because they think it's understated. Ironically enough, it's actually not understated. It actually has the full stats for what you would play on 5. The difference though is that it's offensively statted, and that does kind of hurt it, because if you're trading with this card, you're going to feel slightly bad. I mean, depending on what you kill, you're gonna feel a little bit bad. You don't want to use Evos on this card though. That's the whole point of this card. You'd rather play the Evos on something else. But this card is definitely good just because it's a card that Shadow has that's a good card on its own and doesn't initially require Necromancy. However, can also use Necromancy if you need to in the late game in order to get that 10 damage on Gut Shot. And that's really, really cool. It also enables something that I've been looking forward to for a while, a version of Shadow that can like go tall if it wants to, not like the full like mid shadowy thing where you just like go ahead and just like make a bunch of tokens. Your opponent can't deal with the tokens. You just kind of like Ector them and Koshin Seo. No, like one that plays a little bit kind of like my mid sword, just because like for me, like I'm a person that likes playing creatures that go tall. I don't know why, it's just something I like. Granted, I do play with a lot of tokens, but my heart is with like go tall strats, and Aisha kind of like makes those strats a little bit better for Shadow, which is very, very important. It's definitely a card that I think we'll see 2 of in a lot of different decks. I, however, don't think it's as crazy as people make it out to be. I don't think this will be like a 3 of in every single deck. In every single like Shadowcraft deck that ever is or ever was. Like that's silly. Like for example, I don't think you would ever play this in aggro. Like that makes no sense. But you definitely play it in like mid Shadow and possibly the alternative versions of Shadow, which I'll be talking about as we get to them. On to the next card. Death Dragoncaller. So this card is another card that I actually like a lot. So Shadowcraft got two different mechanics this set. One of the mechanics is reanimate and one of them is burial rites. So if I remember correctly, for burial rites, you basically just like you target a card in your hand, you target a creature in your hand, you then put it into play and then blow it up immediately. You don't get Last Words effect from it, you don't get Vampire effects or anything like that, you just blow it up. And that's good because if you notice, there are a lot of Shadowcraft cards that like when they seek to like reanimate something or target something, they can only target creatures that have actually been played and died and are actually in your graveyard. They can't target things that are banished. They can't target things you haven't played yet or things like that. And that's good because like this helps you, like the combination of both burial rites as well as reanimate, which we'll go ahead and talk about right now. Reanimate is so you can target whatever you want. You can target whatever the highest costed follower is for that particular reanimate cost. So for example, if you play this card, which is reanimate 10, you can revive anything you want up to being a 10 cost. However, if they share like the same like mana cost or whatever, it then becomes like a coin flip to get what you want. But this card is still really, really cool. I know my boy Kiri has been theory crafting things like, say, using this to revive Zeus's, which is actually like really, really cool. I actually like that a lot because like someone was actually telling me about this like earlier. It wasn't Kiri, it was someone else. But you can actually revive and play the same Zeus like up to like I think it's like 6 or 7 times in this type of Shadow deck with like burial rites and like reanimate. That's kind of ridiculous because like Zeus is a surprisingly hard card to kill sometimes, and just being able to just like spam those and go face or whatever and just be annoying is like really, really cool. This is one of those decks that I definitely plan to be playing with. I have no idea how well it's going to go or when I'm going to do it, but it's definitely a card to like look out for because like it makes playing certain later game cards in Shadow more like appealing. Because in the past, if you drew the card, you would feel bad because you couldn't play it. Like for example, I know at one point I knew some people who were playing Pluto. Pluto feels really, really bad when you don't have an Eva for it or things like that. But well, maybe not Pluto for this example, but say I don't know, like Bahamut or like Lucifer or something like that. And now you'd be able to like, reanimate it and do cool things with it. So definitely a cool card. We'll definitely see a lot of play. The next card is Skeleton Prince, aka Skelebro Senior. So this guy is really cool. He's 6 mana 2/3, evolves into a 4/5, so full stats on Evo. And then he has Spam First, summon a Skeleton Knight, Last Word, summon a Skeleton. And that's really cool, and that's really crazy. So a Skeleton Knight, if you don't know what that is, it's a 3 mana 3/1. It has Last Words, I believe, summon a Skeleton, I think. So essentially, this guy is like a 6/6 across like 4 bodies, and that's like wild. The reason why this is good is because like this comes right before again Koshin Seo. It also comes right before Thane, and this makes it very, very tricky for your opponent to deal with it because ordinarily, and this is coming from someone who plays versus Mid Shadow a lot, like ordinarily one of the things they can do in order to beat Mid Shadow is that like if you can guess correctly what their turn 7 is going to be, is it going to be Koshin Seo or is it going to be Thane, and you play around it, you're going to be in a really, really good spot. Additionally, if you can also play around the zombie party, you'll be in a really good spot. But this guy forces you to actively either put creatures into play for a zombie party, or to kind of like ignore this guy while he just sits in play. If you ignore this guy, that usually means that you're not putting anything into play. If you don't put anything into play, that means I can get a free thing if I want to. You don't want to give someone a free thing. That's usually just like your death knell right there. So this card will be very, very tricky to play around, and generally if a card is tricky to play around, it usually makes it pretty good by default. Next card is Sow Death Reap. So right off the bat, just want to say this, very, very cool name, very, very cool art, amazing. So this card is a 5-mana spell. It's reanimate 0, and then the value equals your current turn number. So you can reanimate. All right, so on curve you can reanimate up to a 5-cost creature, and then obviously as you scale up, you can keep reanimating things. The crazy thing is that like you can use this to reanimate Zeus. Another thing is that you might not know this, but like whatever your creature that you're costing that I guess like reanimated or whatever, assuming it's your highest cost of creature, it will always be reanimated because the original will still be in the graveyard. I only just found this out like recently, but yeah. So for example, a really ridiculous play they can go for is you can go for 10 mana Sow Death times 2 and revive 2 Zeuses, hit your opponent in the face for 10, and you have 2 10 HP wards just casually chilling. Another and this is also kind of silly play, is you can kind of go ham and go like say Queen for Sow Death, and then also Zeus or whatever, again same thing, 10 damage, except this time you also have a 7/7 in play, just casually just chilling and doing other things. But it kind of makes the Zeus deck shadow deck really, really cool and possibly terrifying. Now this is one of those cards that, like, again, you're gonna have to like build around it. It's gonna take like a little bit of effort in order to figure out exactly how many copies of this card can you like feasibly play, how exactly you're gonna get to 10 mana, things like that. But I definitely think it'll definitely be a deck that might be like worth trying out and worth playing if you're looking for something to play. Next one on the list is Anubis. Anubis is 7 mana 5/5, evolves into a 7/7, and he's spam for a barrel right, destroy one of the strongest enemy followers in play. So this card is kind of cool. So this card is kind of like a Cowie, except like arguably good and bad, but like they're obviously like trade-offs to both of them. So with Cowie, one of the issues with Cowie is that Cowie's kind of passive. Like it's not as common that you can beat out Cowie, but like sometimes you actually can in fact beat out Cowie. Like for example, banishes, polymorphs, things like that. Like they all beat out Cowie, and if that happens to you, you're gonna feel bad. Whereas like with Anubis, in exchange for not having ward and needing to like discard a creature in your hand for the barrel rate, he can just come in and blow up a creature, and that's fine. Like the other thing that's kind of important, and I mean like this is super important, is that like he's a barrel rate card himself, which means that he can help you like yard your Zeuses and whatnot if you want to like go ahead and like reanimate them with things like say Sow Death, Sow Life, and that's kind of cool. Now what we'll see play or what's better, I have no idea. Like that'll obviously depend on the play format. But one thing I will go ahead and point out is that like things like say Anubis would have been like pretty cool during spawn meta. Now obviously it's not like as crazy. It's not as good. It's maybe not as good as say Cowie would have been. But it's definitely still pretty good. Next card is Soul Caller. Soul Caller is a 3 mana 2/2, evolves into a 4/4. Whenever an ally follower excluding ghosts are destroyed during your turn, summon a ghost. So this guy's kind of cool. Like this girl. It's kind of like a haunted house on a body, and generally if you're a creature that kind of either replicates like a spell or like an artifact, or sorry, not artifact, like a spell or like an enchantment effect, you're usually pretty good, and this card is no exception. This card again, like it can make trades on its own, which is good, because like one of the issues with haunted house is that like if you have haunted house but you don't have a creature, like you feel bad. Whereas with this card, you have the creature, but like if you don't have a haunted house, that's still fine because you still have a creature, and that's a big deal. The next card is Grave Invitation. So this one's kind of cool. This one's destroy an allied follower, summon a zombie. So this one, like, the way you're gonna want to use it is you're gonna want to use it to say trigger to say like your like the lurching corpses or like your Andres or things like that. How good is it? I don't know. Like, it's not as good as it could be. Like, for example, a lot of the shadow decks right now, like, they usually like if they're blowing up their own creatures, they're usually only doing it if they have Thanes, or they're using it if they're like blowing up like Andres or blowing up like Lurching Corpses or things like that. So like it does give you another activator for that, which is kind of cool. I don't know what we'll see playing, but it's definitely a little bit better than it seems like. The next one is Mummy. So this one is a 4 mana 3/4, evolves into a 5/6. This one's really cool. It's like a swing card evo, which is nice. Except unfortunately, well, okay, so it's a swing card evo that doesn't need an evo to be good. Like, it's banned for Necromancy 4, deals 2 damage to enemy followers. So this is nice because like you get to target it, you can evolve it, it gets premium stats on evo, which is nice. So you can kind of come in, kill a creature, maybe kill another creature. Part of why I think this is good. I think it's good because again you get the full sets now. Part of why it's bad is that you need the Necromancy 4. But if you guys remember, well, sorry, for those of you who are like around or like remember this, BKB, Big Knuckle Bodyguard, like BKB like did like something similar. I mean, granted, like the needing Necromancy is like really big, but like when BKB came out and like kill a creature, then killed another creature, and was also a 5/6. And they're starting to kill yet another creature with his like evolved state. Those games felt rough. Now, obviously, like finding the 4 Necromancy to get this is gonna be like difficult. I'm not sure where you're gonna get the shadows from. But if you do in fact get the shadows, you're just gonna like smack your opponent like with a lot of like early game board advantage. Next card is Skull Ring. So this one is a 3 mana amulet. Countdown to Fanfare, summon 2 zombies. Sorry, summon 2 skeletons, I'm sorry. Then this last word's Necromancy 2, reanimate for 2. So this is really cool. It's like a Bone Chimera, sort of, in that you get like something like up front, and then you get like something like later. This is actually one of those cards that can actually help you build up the shadow count that you need in order to trigger Mummy, which is actually really cool. I definitely think that this card will see play. What we'll see play in, I don't know. But being able to just like get like cheap reanimate on the fly is really cool. Just because again, it helps like build up your board or things like that. It helps like make your board like more sticky. You don't have to like play out any like real cards. You're just like getting cards for free. Like this card essentially. Okay, so the reanimate already pays for itself because of the skeletons, but they also get like a free shadow on top of it just because of the Skull Ring itself. The next card is Gloomy Necromancer. This one is spam for barrel right, draw a card. So this one is good, but like it's not good. So it's good just because like of the whole, well, it's going to cycle itself, and that's always good. The unfortunate part is that's a 2/1, and generally if you're a 2/1, like you usually have like some awkward times, like especially now when like you. Especially now, when you see that, like even like Soul Squash right now, like which used to be like an instant 3-of all the time, it got nerfed to being a 2/1, and now like sometimes it's like a 2-of, or sometimes not even seen at all in certain like lists of mid shadow. This card is still very good though, just because like it helps you cycle again, build up your shadow count, will also help like bury your Zeuses and things like that if you need it, and it's always very good. So I definitely think I'll see play. I don't know what I'll see play. Like I'm pretty sure I'll probably just see play in like the reanimate Zeus thingy. Just because like you really want to be able to both find and yard your Zeus as quick as possible before turn 8, and then just start like going off by just like jamming some Zeuses in people's space. Next card is Bone Bug. This is a 2 mana 1/3, evolves into a 3/5. Whenever another ally follower is destroyed, restore one defense through there. I'm sorry about that. So this card is really good. Okay, so this card is good not so much just because of its effect, but because of its stat line. As a 2 mana 1/3, like you have that stat line where you're really annoying to your opponent, and your opponent, if they're playing a creature based deck, if they ever want to be able to develop a creature, the creature both has to be like a 2/2, and you have to like not have anything else in play to like annoy them. And and this creature will most likely bait out early removal spells, which is nice because that clears the way for you to do like other things. It also helps synergize with that of the skeleton ring, I believe, just because like it helps you. Just because if you're going first and you go like Bone Bug and then you go into the skeleton ring, your opponent now has to remove the Bone Bug before they can do anything else. Because if they try to go face, that doesn't work because I just go ahead and I just like trade my creatures into your dude, and I just go ahead and heal up for the damage you did. So you basically just didn't do anything at all, and it puts your opponent into some kind of like awkward situations, and that's kind of cool. Additionally, on the turns where you're like going off of say Demon Eater, which like Demon Eater chains into like say Thane things or whatever as well, those are also kind of good. Like if you have like a congested board state, you can easily probably heal for like 2 to 3, maybe even more in the same turn. That's really cool. Like this, like it, like alright. So one of the other things that people like might not know about is that like there are cards like this that exist in Shadow that have this type of effect. But the issue with all those cards, they all cost a lot. Like they all cost like 5 or 6 mana in order to do this. Like for example, you have like say things like say Soul Eater. Soul Eater is like 5 mana. Like you don't want to play like something that's like clunky like that like doesn't do anything. Like not unless it's like a low cost. Like say how Bone Bug is. Like 2 mana beats 5 mana like many days of the week. Alright, so next is gonna be the Bloodcraft cards. So we're gonna start off with the Bloodcraft legendary Diabolous Psema. So this card is very cool. It's spam for put a demonic storm and a demonic strike into your hand. If Vengeance is active free, recover 6 play points, and then this speller can't be damaged by spells. So this card is really wild. So right off the bat, it's a 9 mana card that automatically gives you a +2 just for playing it right off the top. Granted, you might not always be able to use the cards that they gave you immediately, but you can still use the cards at some point, unless of course you just like die like the next turn. Initially, the card itself is also threatening to deal a ton of damage to your face because like Demonic Storm does 3 damage to everything, including like the field and both the leaders. So that's like 6 mana to go ahead and clear the board or whatever. You can maybe get rid of most boards that are commonly played, freeing up the way for this guy to hit face. You also of course will have the Demonic Strike as well. So you're threatening to deal 12 damage with this card, and that's really wild. The other thing is that like if you have like the if you're in Vengeance or whatever, you recover 6 play points. Recovering play points, as you may have recalled or whatever right now. I did mention it in like both like the Sword review as well as the Dragon review, how like if you only recover 1 play point, if you only like cheat out or gain like 1 play point at a time, sometimes it can be kind of anecdotal what you can do. But if you recover 6 play points at once, there's a lot of crazy things you can do at once, which we'll go ahead and we'll see as we go down and look at these cards. But this card is very cool. I definitely like it a lot. I know a lot of people have been like, okay, well, why would you play this card over Spawn? And to be honest with you, a reason why you would play this card over Spawn is just because in extended games, this card is less feels bad than Spawn's play. I think just because like Spawn can't really do anything because like when you play Spawn, you don't have to play Spawn and then immediately evolve it into a creature. With this guy, you're not gonna feel bad if you have to evolve it into a creature, just because like he already gave you his +2. Like you don't care if he dies. Like what you care about is the fact that he gave you a +2. He's also very difficult for your opponent to deal with, just because like again, he's threatening to deal 6 to top to like 12 to 14 damage. Like that's a lot of damage from one unit. And then also he has some form of evasion. Not being able to be damaged by spells is very big, because it means that the only way that I can clear you is by banish. Not many classes have banishes. Polymorphs, again, not many classes have polymorphs as well, or by killing you in battle. But I have a high base HP total, so that's going to be very difficult for you to do. How good this is largely gonna like depend on like how good Control Blood is, or how good like certain mid-rangey versions of Blood are. I'll definitely be working on this as well, just because this is one of those cards that like really excited me for this set. The next card is Nacht, or Nacht. I forgot to look up the correct pronunciation for this. Anyway, she's the Bloodcraft legendary, aka the waifu legendary. So she's a 5 mana 4/4. Last words: give both players the following leader effect. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to your leader. This effect lasts for the rest of the match, and this effect can also stack. So one thing you'll notice off the bat is that like she's essentially like a weaker Caribous. So for 1 mana less, you lose out on one worth of stats, as well as being able to get the draw effect. But in exchange, you get a permanent Blood-Fed Flower Bed that works for both people. And the trick with playing this card will be finding a deck that like abuses the whole you taking 1 damage. So right off the bat, we know that there is a deck that exists. You can try to play this in Jormungand, and that'll be really cool. It occupies a very nice role because like in addition to just the Jormungand thing, you can also play it. You can also play in that aggro. Just because like you can use it as like an aggressive 5-drop, because like right now, like as far as I know, like aggro doesn't really have like that good of 5-drops, and just being able to have like a permanent blood-fed flower bed. Wow, that was a tongue twister. Just going off whatever, and also having this creature in play, just being annoying is very good. Like because again, it puts your opponent into an awkward spot. Like they probably don't want you to get that leader effect, but they probably don't want to get hit for 6 as well. So very cool card because like it forces you into like some awkward situations. Additionally, the whole Jormungand thing, like I kind of understated this a little bit. Like part of why it's good in Jormungand is that like it can also threat check for you at the same. It can also like threat density check for you at the same time. In that like your opponent most likely, prior to you playing the Jormungand, they're probably just going to assume that you're aggro or something like that. So when you play up the Nacht, like they're going to, if they have a banish effect or a polymorph effect, they're going to use on this. They're not going to use on your Jormungand, but the Jormungand is what your deck is primarily built on. It's like your primary win con. So you're not going to care like if this card gets banished. What you're going to care about is if Jormungand gets banished before you can go ahead and like blow one up. So being able to just, kind of do that and just kind of cheat it out and do things like that, it's going to be like really good. The other thing that's kind of important is that like it gives extra utility to that of Zodiac Demon. Zodiac Demon is a card that like I thought was going to see play like for a while, like because like it's not bad, but like it helps you cheat into play like all these last word like emblem effects, like say for example Heresy or Jormungand as well as Nacht. But the issue is that like you like for some of these emblem effects you only want to play like one of them, and then for some of them like you would run into issues. Well, what if I find the Zodiac Demon, but I don't find the thing I want to blow up with it? Well, now you get like 2 bites of the apple. You get like 2 different things that you can blow up if you want to, and that kind of gives extra utility. So definitely a really cool card. Definitely think we'll see play. I don't know how much play we'll see or where it will find this permanent home in, but I definitely know this card will see play. The next card is Reach of the ArchDemon. So Reach of the ArchDemon is a really cool card. Like this artwork is sick. Like oh my god. So it's a 6-mana spell. Deal 3 damage to all followers. If Vengeance is active for you, recover 3 play points. So this is kind of nice because like recovering 3 play points again. It's not really. It's a small but not small amount because like there are certain things you can do with that. Like for example, you can go ahead and I know that the primary combo that the developers talked about was being able to go for 6 mana. You can go ahead and go Diabolous. You can go ahead and go Reach of the ArchDemon immediately afterwards. Recover 3 play points. They can cast 1 more spell if you want to. You can go. You can use it to cast one of the spells we'll be talking about next. And then just do like some like really sick things with it. Like because like in order to be like a good control deck, like you need to be able to do like a lot of things in one turn. A lot of reactive things in one turn. Because as I've said numerous times, it's not enough to just like react to a board. Like you have to be able to react and do something proactive at the same time. If you want to ever be able to get to start getting some traction into a game in order to start being able to like turn it on the corner finally. But yeah, this card is really cool. Again, sick art, love it. The next card is Terror Demon. So this is a 4 mana 2/4, evolves into a 4/6. Drain. Whenever an ally follower evolves, this follower gains +1/+0 while in your hand. So this card, you'll immediately notice that this card is basically like Righteous Devil, except this card is a little bit better than Righteous Devil. So Righteous Devil, 100% of the time, the only reason why you played that card is because that card had Drain. This card has Drain as well. However, this card doesn't care if you're vengeance or not. It will always have the Drain. It will always be annoying for your opponent to deal with. Additionally, the gaining +1/+0 or whatever, like that effect is cool, but like it's largely pointless, and and usually won't matter that much. But it will still have some like impact at times when you can go ahead and do it. Like for example, you can go ahead and if you're going second, play this on 4, evolve it, kill a creature, heal for 4, but in reality you get to heal for 10. The reason why is because like, sorry, not 10. Well, not 10, but close to at least 6. The reason why is because like you'll come in, you'll kill the creature again. This will heal for 4. God forbid your opponent like plays out like something like say LOL Goblin or whatever. And this will be like a 4/5, making it very annoying for them to deal with. But most times they'll usually have at least 4 health. At the 4 health benchmark, it means that your opponent has to trade in a creature now. If they trade in a creature, the creature will be at like 2 HP, which means that you can go ahead and chain this into Scarlet, into like say a 6-drop of your choice. Like for example, you can go ahead and go Jormungand, and then oh look at that, I have a Jormungand in play, and you're kind of out of resources to deal with this. Not looking good for you, friend. And that's just very good. Now obviously that was like best case scenario, but worst case scenario, he'll kind of just come into play and just kind of like still be annoying because like he'll still have the drain. Your opponent is going to want to clear it, so it'll basically be like a 4-mana 2/4 ward, and that's decent. But yeah, definitely a really cool card. I definitely think control level will play just following the trend of how many people played Gratis Double in the first place. I don't know what else to play though. I think I'll definitely try it in my mid blood deck. I think I'm not sure. Next card is an Endearing Succubus Lilith. So this card is spam fair. Give your leader the following effect: whenever your leader takes damage during your turn, or recover 1 play point. This effect lasts until this follower leaves the area. So this is like a pseudo like temporary like I guess like emblem effect. This card is really cool. It's really nice because I guess like side games kind of like learned a little bit from like utility effects, and they made sure that they made this creature tanky. So the idea is that you have this creature live and play for like multiple turns, and just be able to spam a whole bunch of like soft damage effects. Like for example, these self damage effects are actually very relevant because like if you have a Jormungand effect active, you can maybe say on 7 mana play like I don't know like 3 blood packs, and then a Razor Claw on the same turn. So you just got to draw 4 cards, play out a 1/5 or a 3/7 if you pre-evolve it, deal 4 damage to the enemy's board, and then deal 4 damage to the enemy's board and face, and then also deal 3 damage to the enemy's face. So for a total like 7 damage. That's really ridiculous. Now granted, that's like super high roll because I just list like multiple at least 1/3 of or whatever. That's like super like ideal scenario, but the average scenario is that you usually play this and you usually be able to cast maybe like say 2 or 3 cards or whatever in 1 turn and just like deal a whole bunch of damage with Jormungand passive, and that'll be really cool. So definitely really good card. I don't think it'll be as broken as people make it out to be, because one of the things with the whole like 1/5 stat line is that like if you play this on curve, you're going to feel bad because like it's going to die. Like it's almost assuredly going to die. Now granted, it will be able to soak you up 5 HP, but it's almost assuredly going to die. And if you play it on 7, you also have to. Not really like 7, but like if you play it like around like 7 or whatever, you're gonna want to have a lot of things in order to trigger with it. So just go ham. But when you go ham, you also have to be able to like recycle some, or you're able to like regain some of the cards that you use up, and that just makes it for a very tricky thing. But the card is still very good at what it does. Next card is Double Blade. At the end of your turn, all allied followers gain +1/+0. Deal 2 damage to your leader if vengeance is not active for you. So this card is like a really bad bad Wind God effect. Like I don't think this card will see play. I think that most of this card will see play is maybe in say draft, and that's only because like it got like tied to like your Diabolous or something like that, and you just like had to take the Diabolous. Yeah, not really seeing it with this card. The next card is Vassago. Vassago is a 3-mana 2/3. She evolves into a 3/4, so not full stats on Eva. That's kind of big. Right, so with Vassago, she's evolved, destroy an allied follower, then put a copy of that follower into play and give it rush. So this is kind of big. This is kind of cool because like one of the things you can do with it is that like you can make a tempo Jormungand play even scarier than it already is. Because ordinarily what happens with the tempo Jormungand play is that your opponent tries to ignore it and they just go face because they literally cannot afford to make a trade into the Jormungand. But now with Vassago, you can go ahead and you can like immediately activate the Jormungand and then still have another Jormungand up, so you can like stack additional Jormungand effects. And that's very cool because initially on paper, when Jormungand is just doing like say 1 damage to everything, or whatever, everything your opponent controls, that's kind of, you know, that's whatever. You can kind of think of it as like chump change. But once Jormungand starts doing like say 2 or 3 to everything, it gets a lot scarier very, very quickly, because after it hits like 3, it means that anything your opponent plays is just going to die for free. Like if he casts any like self damage effect, like that's ridiculous actually. And this card kind of helps with that. Like, I definitely think that this card will see play, and it's going to be kind of like the whole Erd and Shadow thing, in which like you're gonna feel super, super bad because you're gonna feel super, super bad if you're in a spot where you can't actually willingly kill off the Jormungand and still be able to proactively like retain your board state, because like you're gonna get Vassago, you're gonna feel very, very sad, and you're just gonna like be like, why the hell are they playing Vassago? So I definitely know that's gonna happen to someone. For how good the card is, I don't know, because it's one of those, again, it's like Erd, and that like it's really, really greedy, because like the only 2 cards they can trigger the Vassago on and have it actually be like a relevant thing is to trigger it on either Nacht or Jormungand, and that's like 2 cards, and that's like 6 total copies of cards out of your 40 card deck. I don't think you want to do that. I don't know. The next card is Pazuzu. 3 mana 2/2, evolves into a 4/4. Bane, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers if Vengeance is active for you. So this card is really cool. I don't think it'll see play though, but it is still really cool. Just because being able to have Bane on a low curved unit is really cool. It helps clear the way for certain things. Like if you play out that Bane unit, your opponent's gonna want to use a removal spell. They use a removal spell, it's kind of frees up the way for your turn 4 to be great. Your turn 4 is great. You're probably gonna play out that Drain dude, and that'll be really cool, and so on and so forth. But the other issue is that it's slow. It doesn't really impact the board at all, and its spam per effect is kind of meh. So next card is Savage Wolf. So the Savage Wolf thing was actually really funny, because right after this card got revealed, people were raging out of their minds, and it was crazy. But it's a 3 mana 2/2, evolves into a 4/4, and it just has Storm. So it's like, so you can think of it as like a Blood Wolf reprint, or you can think of it as like a Novice Trooper, but in a different class. This card is kind of cool. It's kind of bad too, but all right. So when I say bad, I don't mean like it's bad, I don't mean bad in the traditional sense, but sometimes the Blood Wolf uses of you taking that 2 damage, sometimes like some decks actually wanted that. Like for example, Vengeance Blood kind of wanted it, so this way you can go back into Vengeance, or you can kind of pair it with that Dark Air Jammer. Jormungand, again, they wanted it, so you can go ahead and get Jormungand activation, and you can kind of like make the Blood Wolf even scarier than it already is. Whereas this guy, like you'll definitely play it in aggro. I don't know where else you'll play it. Like you might play it in Vengeance by depth, but I'm not sure, because like Vengeance already plays like quite a few 3-drops. So. But the card's still very, very good, just because like it has Storm. There's no drawback, it just has Storm. That's great. The next card is Blooddrinker's Brand. So this is actually the card I was talking about when I was mentioning the whole Diabolous ideal scenario. That is that like you go ahead and you go to Diabolous, and then you go ahead and you go reach the ArchDemon, then you go ahead and play this. So Blooddrinker's Brand, it's a 3 mana spell. Deal 4 damage to a follower, give it Drain if it's a Bloodcraft follower. So this card is really cool for a lot of different reasons. One, right off the bat, like it's a damaging card. They can use it. Sorry, it's a single target damaging card they can use to target whatever creature you want. And that's like really, really cool. Just because like we don't really have that many of those. Like so if in the event like they're in like a situation which you like, I don't know, maybe say like board block yourself, you can actually go ahead and blow up a creature on your board while being able to like say play something else. Like say for example, if you board block yourself and then your opponent plays something that requires you to be able to put a ward, you can now go ahead and go Blooddrinkers, blood per creature, then put a ward into play and maybe save your life. And that's kind of cool. The other thing is, again, with Diabolous, you can go ahead and you can hit the Diabolous. The Diabolous won't take any damage at all, and he'll now just have Drain. So you can go ahead and now evolve the Diabolous and then heal for 8. That's insane. The other good targets for this are... off the top of my head, another good target for this is also Emeralda if you're in Vengeance. So this way you'll go ahead and be able to kill a creature, heal for 4 at the same time. That's really cool. Aside from that, though, I guess there's also Jormungand as well, actually. Like in the event in which you're trying to like suicide, in the event in which you're trying to like kill off your Jormungand, I definitely think you would rather play this as opposed to Vassago. But yeah, really cool card. It also helps you recover play points as well if you're in Vengeance, which is also very, very good as well. So really cool card. I definitely like this design as opposed to say that of say Diabolic Drain, because this one, it actually requires you to be at a higher play point count. Like in the past, like what you would do is you as Vengeance, you would go ahead and say go like Belphegor into Drain on 5 and just make your opponent feel bad because you just have like a 6x, most likely like a 6/4, something like that, and they can't kill it, and they just like feel super, super bad. But now with this, it means that you can still keep your healing if you want it, but now we just won't be able to play it as early, and that's very, very important. The next card is Glassbrand Demon. So this one is spam for Enhance 5, gain +3/+3. Deal 2 damage to your leader if Vengeance is not active for you. Restore 2 defense to your leader if Vengeance is active for you. So this card is really, really cool. It's really alright. So I think this card is kind of good in like Vengeance Blood if you're like trying to like get back into Vengeance if you're not in Vengeance, and also helping you heal if you're in Vengeance. The other thing that makes it really cool is that like if you play the enhanced version, or sorry, I'm sorry. I believe that the enhanced version is like the entire version of the effect. Okay, right. So if you play this card on 5, it feels like really cool because like you essentially get like a 5-mana 7/7. Well, assuming you evolve it, of course. That'll also go ahead and help push you further into Vengeance if you need to be, or pull you out of Vengeance if you need to be. I don't know if this will see play though, just because again, like you don't really want to play Faith for Enhanced 5 when you're playing Bloodcraft, because like Bloodcraft already has like really good vibes. You have Airjammer, you have Scarlet, like you have Nacht, really, really good vibes. So I don't know if this card will see play, but if it does, it'll probably be for that reason. Next one is Cursed Scarecrow. Cursed Scarecrow is like one of the meme cards of this set. Thankfully, I'm really glad that the Dragon did not get this card. So it's a 2-mana 4/1, evolves into a 6/3. Can't attack enemy leader, and then evolve this, can't attack enemy leader. So you'll mainly be using this for like trading. You'll only be using this for like trading purposes and things like that. But this guy literally cannot live any trades. It's mainly just like, oh, well you might play this in draft maybe, but aside from that, you probably will not play this card unless you're just like a giant memer. But that's like, you know, to each his own. All right, and that's the last blood card. So this was a bit of a, I want to say this is like maybe a shorter review. I'm not really sure. I definitely know I've been talking for a while. I'm really excited more so for the Shadowcraft cards than I am for the Bloodcraft cards. Like there aren't as many Bloodcraft cards I'm like super like excited for. Like I think for me, like it mainly caps out being like excited for both Diabolous Psema as well as Lilith, and I think Reach of the ArchDemon. But that's again Reach of the ArchDemon because like that art is sick, like actually sick. But there's definitely, you know, a lot of things to be tested and a lot of things to be experimented with. I definitely think that Jormungand is probably gonna like see a bit of a rise in play. How much rise in play, I don't know, because Jormungand is actually a bit of a difficult deck in order to like make and have it like work, because like there's so many cards you want to fit into it. But it's definitely going to be one of the things that people experiment with. I just hope that there's like a builder out there that can like hopefully find like a good like Jormungand deck and like make it work. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, go and hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about Shadow and Blood down in the comments below.